Hey guys, Gemma from ASD Rocks, sitting out the front of the school, just finished up. So it's 1 o'clock and I got the call about Beau dropping his biscuits at 11 o'clock, something like that. Rushed straight down to the school, and I have only just finished having a meeting with his, sitting in the car park, having a meeting with his teacher, and we were discussing, because it's what I spend my life doing, is sitting and talking with the teachers about, how we're going to make sure that Beau can handle the mainstream content. Now, Beau won't watch any movies, he won't watch any videos, no TV at all. It's too emotional for him. It's a trigger. He won't watch a movie. No movie, so don't suggest it. It's not about the environment, it's not about being at the cinema, it's the emotional content of any movie. Anyway, so it turns out that in psychology they're going to be watching Shutter Island, which that's going to be so they're going to be discussing psychosis, and they're going to be discussing PTSD and all of these sorts of things, and Shutter Island is the movie that they've chosen, which is such an intense film. And yeah, the typical kids will love it. It's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Beau will not cope. So we're sort of just talking about how we can make sure that he gets the content, that he gets the concept, that he gets the understanding of the movie, and all of that sort of stuff, and make sure that we keep it as mainstream as possible, because it is my personal opinion, if your kid can't do mainstream, they shouldn't be in mainstream. But having said that, I had an absolutely amazing special school that supported Beau in a way, and me in a way, that made it possible to get into mainstream. And I never wanted my kid to disturb a class, or not ever be in class and just be outside with an aide the whole time. There's a point where those special schools are so bloody great, and will help you to get a better experience from mainstream. Anyway, so yeah, we're trying to create this situation, and I just ran into Beau at lunchtime after the meeting, which I've taken like a million notes on in my book about, psychosis and schizophrenia, PTSD, and all of this stuff, and all these subjects that they're going to be touching on. So I was sitting with him because he was really put out by having dropped his lunchbox. So apparently he was taking his lunchbox out of his bag. One of the clips on his lunchbox must have just been open, and as he pulled it out, but they've all just come out, which has caused a complete shutdown. And they've called me immediately. I had to speak to him on the phone, tell him to calm down. I'll be there as soon as I can. And I rushed out. So I've sat down with him and I'm handing over. This is really interesting, actually. Another thing is that, I put all of his crackers into two separate bags, which, while I was sitting with him, he then spent the whole time transporting them into his lunchbox. So, it's not even a matter of, oh, here are your crackers, oh, thanks, and starts, he takes the bags. No, it has to go into the container that his lunch would usually be had in, blah, blah, blah. So we're sitting there, and I said to him, I was talking to your psychology teacher, and we're going to be studying, they're going to be watching Shutter Island, and you haven't seen the movie, and I know you won't see the movie, but it's a really long movie. It's going to go for the period of 2 full periods. So you know, your teacher's really worried that you're going to be missing out, and that if we send you to the library to do study or whatever, that you'll be missing out on you know, the feedback and the content and all that sort of stuff, and the class discussions. And so I started describing to him Shutter Island and saying, you know, it was about psychosis and PTSD and that sort of stuff. And I said, look, you know, I love the movie. I think it's fantastic. Dad loves the movie. You know, Finn, I'll show one time. I don't know. I'm sure he'd love the movie. And Bo looked up at me and he was like, oh, so that's one more we can, you know, tick off for the family. And I went, what? Psychosis? And he just wet himself. He's like, no, the movie. Everybody in the family loves the movie. And I'm like, well, you never know, you know. Could be psychosis too, just undiagnosed. I mean, these days. And everybody's got a label. So, yeah, we had an absolute laugh about that. And then after we had a real laugh, and he started eating, and he turned around and he looked at me and he went, you know what, it turns out that a really good thing came out of a bad thing today. You know, I've had a really good time seeing you today at school, and it turns out that a good thing can happen from a bad thing. And it's like, oh dear, you know, it's so great. Yes, okay, for any other kid you wouldn't have to stop your day and go down and have to turn that around, you know. But the truth is, now for the next 2.5 hours of school, he's going to be open, he's going to be receptive, he's going to be fed, you know, he's gonna be a better student, a better person in himself. He's gonna feel better. And isn't that exactly what this job is? Being a mum, you know, or a carer or a father or a parent, is to 100% just stop and turn that kid's day around, because everything can come to an absolute grinding halt. And I ran into a number of teachers in there, including the amazing Mr. Noble, and I just sort of explained that the reception had called me because Bo dropped his crackers, and he was like, oh, that would be life-shattering for him. And I was like, you get it. And that's all they need to do. That is all they need to do at a school, is just get it. It's not that they have to fix it. It's, you know, it's understanding that you're creating this triangle of support. You know, you've got the student here, you've got the teachers in the school, and you've got the parent, right? And if you've got the parents and the school working together, you're creating this incredible foundation. You know, it's not about blame. It's not about who needs to fix what. It's not about what are their duties, what are your duties. It's about, I will do everything I can. They do everything they can. And then, you know what, we get it worked out, and he's off. He's so happy. I walked out of reception. The girl in reception was like, oh, it was just so beautiful to see you two sitting there laughing together. You know, I don't see him talk to anyone normally, so, you know, I don't know. They don't see that side, that really social side of him at all. And she was like, oh, just seeing you two sitting there talking to each other, having a laugh, and it was just so beautiful. She said, I just got all emotional. And it's funny because I don't think about that at all. They mustn't see that side. I mean, other than the people that actually work one-on-one with Bo, who know his humor, who understand him, you know, they just wouldn't know who that kid is, and they wouldn't see him, you know, laughing and, you know, having a joke, because he doesn't talk to anyone at school. He has no friends. He's never hanging out with anyone. So yeah, it's turns out to be quite a good day. Whether I can get to sleep or not before I have this really big night planned for ASD Rocks and the boys, super big surprise coming up tonight. So ASD Rocks, guys. Hopefully I won't have my eyeballs hanging out of my head, but no guarantee there at all.